Let me tell you a story. It was the first day of my class 5th. Everyone were very excited because now we were allowed to write with blue pens on our notes instead of the typical pencils. Soon our class teachers came in and they asked us to give us our introductions and talk about our life ambitions and goals. Well, I wanted to say scientist, but because I felt that I was an average student, I just said that I wanted to become a software engineer. Why? Because I heard it from my seniors, and they also told me that with software engineering you can make your own games. So I thought that anything that is related to computers and games, I would love it, and this is where the story begins. But you know what? This is not just my story. This is the story of millions of students who chose these careers with others' influence. Now, as I am pursuing engineering myself, I can say that a lot of these things spoken about are very true and some of them are very, very false. This is a story of ambitions, goals, struggles, and cutthroat competition. And this is nothing but the untold story of
150 करोड़ की आबादी वाला देश, हर पांचवा शख्स 25 साल से कम उम्र का, यानी नौकरियों के लिए तैयार एक बड़ी आबादी, लेकिन नौकरियों की कमी है.
కాలేజ్లో ఉండగానే క్యాంపస్ ఇంటర్వ్యూలు, ఏదో ఒక కంపెనీకి సెలెక్ట్ కావడం, కాలేజ్ అయిపోతూనే ఉద్యోగంలో చేరడం.
If the curriculum was a little bit diverse, if the engineering colleges in our country focused on our all-round development instead of functioning like a goddamn factory that is just mass producing robots by killing their dreams and handing out degrees.
एक announcement किया है that they are not going to hire on campus this year. It's a shocking news for students, freshers के लिए especially.
So let's start with understanding the history of placements first. And to know the history of placements, you need to understand the history of India first. Soon after the independence, our country was left with nothing. The only thing that we had was our will to grow. And that is why new education policies were introduced in our country, which led to some of the most prestigious institutions, which they now call it as IITs. And very soon people started to realize that education is the way to get a safe and secure job and to go into the path of so-called well-settled life. Let me explain you all of this stuff with an example. Think of the job market as a garden with government jobs, private jobs, and some family businesses. But this garden has limited resources and opportunities. So getting a job was like getting a gift from your family members or friends. It was only through recommendations. There were no real rules or systems in this garden. Thus, one fine day, the gardener of this garden came into the picture, which is our government, and they brought in some initiatives like 5-year plans. This 5-year plan created a lot of opportunities for students and graduates. And at the same time, the universities also started to set up a few small stalls which are called as placement cells. But there was one problem. The garden is still very small, and thus the government finally decides to come up with a 1991 plan of liberalization.
We are in a phase of restructuring our economy.
So after the implementation of liberalization, the opportunities started exploding every single where. Do you remember our garden that we talked about? Now just imagine the walls of that garden being torn away with a bulldozer and expanding that garden to infinite fields. That is what liberalization did with our IT industry. Liberalization brought a wave of huge foreign investments, leading to the birth of new companies like Infosys and Wipro.
We needed data communication facilities. We needed easy travel abroad. We needed open offices abroad. None of these things existed. No, it was only in 1991 when Dr. Manmohan Singh reformed the economy.
And thus, the demand for software engineers increased. Hence, the placement cells that we talked about earlier became better and better at giving students opportunity. And it finally became a platform to connect students with companies. And that is how some of the most important events took place in the history of recruitment. And that led to the emergence of the startup ecosystem in the cities like Bangalore, Mumbai, and Hyderabad. And all these events were just enough to show the immense potential in the IT industry. And due to the online platforms and the rise of internet, the platforms like Naukri.com came in handy for the students to get jobs in hand. And due to all these factors, today we have what we call as our dear college placements. But I really wish this was a happy ending of the story. But in reality, this is not the end. Look, college placements has come across a long way, from C for C language to C for coronavirus. And the current reality of college placements is entirely different. The industry has taken a massive hit after the COVID-19 virus. And these days, we just commonly hear the words such as layoffs. And that is exactly why I feel it is equally important to talk about Look, the current job market in India is uncertain at the moment, where we see employees, those who are working at a job, are being fired, and at the same time, we see such reports from the trusted articles like The Hindu saying that there is still a strong demand for engineers in the future. On one side, we see students cracking 10 lakhs, 20 lakhs, 30 lakhs, 50 lakhs, 1 crore, 4 crores worth of placements, and on the other side, we see companies hiring only few students from thousands of students, those who apply. And things get even worse when you listen about the cutthroat competition of these placement drives. I mean, man, this is absolutely insane. And do you know what is the best part about this? The students who pursue engineering, like me and my friends, my seniors and juniors, we all know this. We all agree this fact, and still we come to the college in time to fill our attendance for 75%. We get dressed, we keep a smile on our faces, we listen to the same old bakwas boring lectures which can be covered one day before the exam while maintaining a good CGPA. And after all this, we just hope that one day we could get a good job, probably with a good package, only so that we can just at least tell to our parents that their kids are not disappointment. But do you know what do we get in return after doing all these things? Rejection. Look, when we talk about the reality, the market and economics don't care about if you are an average student whose parents has taken a loan to afford education or a topper student who has worked his ass off every single day to get full marks. The market and economics just don't care. Look, so far you might have obviously understood that this whole game is about demand and supply. Yes, it is true that people are able to crack 10 lakhs, 50 lakhs, 1 crore worth of package and placement. But it is also true at the same time that students are struggling to even crack a minimum salary which can repay their education loans. And that is why I think this is the right time that we talk about our future.
Humanity is at a tipping point. We stand at a crossroads of accelerating change unlike anything ever seen in the history of life. It feels as if the future could tip either way. Between utopia and apocalypse.
I tried so hard and got so far, but in the end, it doesn't even matter.
I remember a dialogue from my favorite movie.
अरे राजू, हम लोग पढ़ेंगे, जी लगा के पढ़ेंगे, लेकिन सिर्फ एग्जाम पास करने के लिए नहीं। किसी महापुरुष ने कहा है कि कामयाब होने के लिए नहीं, काबिल होने के लिए पढ़ो। सक्सेस के पीछे मत भागो, एक्सेलेंस का पीछा करो। सक्सेस झक मार के तुम्हारे पीछे आएगी।
See, let's be raw honest here. We don't really know what is going to happen in the future. I mean, like an year ago, there was no ChatGPT. And right now, the AI is able to do the jobs that all of us combined would have done in weeks. And people take years to learn these things. Look, the point of this video is not to tell you that our situation is hopeless. The point of this video is to tell you that if you're someone who is watching this video, then you are the person who is taking your future seriously. And the future always has the place for those who are ready to create it. We all came into this rat race through external people's opinions like our parents, friends, relatives. And as long as we depend on others to sort our own life, we will keep losing ourselves. And maybe very soon, we may lose ourselves. So, now is the time that we start working on our dreams. Because when it is true that college takes a lot of our valuable time on these pointless things, it also gives you 4 years of time to try things, fail things, and to just do things. Maybe it is all about learning that new skill. Maybe it is about getting on the stage and talking in front of people. Or maybe it's about creating a next viral video and creating a huge impact. Or maybe it's that next language you could learn to earn money or make your own game. Whatever it is, just go fail. Because after all these years, what I have realized is that don't listen to anyone else. You know what to do with your life. Just do it. With that being said, just do whatever you want to do. And if you find what you love to do, that is the time you're living, my friend. Thanks for watching.
So hard and got so far, but in the end, it doesn't even matter.